video I made of elk at sunrise. It's Easter Sunday. Turned into a beautiful day, although it was quite cold this morning. And I thought I would go back up and do a sunset video. And sure enough, that same spot where all those elk were is now loaded with deer. And they're looking at me. Mule deer, big old rats. See the little white butts sticking up. Something good to eat along this section of road. Probably that the water's close by, and since it is getting to be evening, they probably come down for their drink of water. So here we are, different time of day, back at the same spot. Looks a little hazy out there in the distance. Boy, it sure got nipply. Brought the tub buggy this time. She's running really good. Handles like a motorcycle. There's somebody enjoying the road. Yeah, these mountain roads are a blast if you got a motorcycle or car that handles well. It was really nice out there in the sun, but I got a little bit of a chill. I'm gonna throw my coat off if you don't mind. Set you down there. Whew. Yeah, it turned into a really nice day. Yeah, glad I saw those deer down there. That was an extra treat. Anytime I get out and get to see some game or wildlife, it makes me happy. And today's Easter. Happy about what Easter means. So, as long as we're up here, I guess we could look at a few things that I was working on today. Got my little oil temperature sensor here, and by looking at this wire, which is quite a ways from that screw, I know that there's a good climb up this hill, and didn't even start to get hot. That's normal operating range. And got these Gene Berg throttle linkage on. That was a chore. Spent most of yesterday trying to figure out if I had a carb problem or what the problem was. This thing was snapping and farting, and turned out I had a clogged, partially clogged main jet on number 1 over here on this side, and in 20 years I've never had one of those clog up. There's so many filters throughout the system that it just hardly gets those big main jets, and yeah, got my rifle shell here to block the crankcase vent from the top. Got my glycerin filled oil pressure gauge there. Should have checked that before I shut it off, but ain't worried about it. And put some new air cleaners on, and they're a little shorter with this 2-liter motor. Got some clearance issues here, and these are about 1 inch shorter, so it gave me some space there. I was touching the fiberglass. Everything's pretty easy to get to. You got your clutch adjustment as just a wing nut right back here, just on the cable. Of course, this thing's been shortened, so the cable that normally operates your clutch, took a section out of it, put those 2 cable clamps on it. And since I'm running 2 gas tanks, I got this solenoid. I just wanted a valve, a 3-way valve that was simple, and went into a Napa auto parts store, and after stopping at 4 or 5 different other places, nobody knew what I was talking about, and these 2 guys were there, and he says, "Yeah, I think a part number 7692 would work pretty good for that, don't you, Joe?" And the guy said, "Oh, I don't know, a 97 I think would be better, but you know, let's get one out and take a look at it." So what this does is it normally flows from one tank with no power, and then when I activate a switch on my dashboard, it switches to the other tank and operates the solenoid and takes it from the other tank. So I got this 7 gallons, I think it's 7 gallons behind the seat, and I got another 7 gallons up front here in the original VW configuration. So that works out pretty good. Running my little skinnies stocks up front, and it's like having power steering with those things. This car is so light. I think with me in it, with that tub and both tanks full of gas, ready for an all-day trip, I'm at 1,780 pounds. So that's pretty light. Gets pretty good gas mileage. With both tanks full of gas, I can go 250 to 300 miles depending on how I'm driving, what gear I'm in. Of course, if you're going to be off-roading and putting around, you're not going to get as good a gas mileage. And got my full flow oil system on here. Put the filter there up in the air. I know it's kind of close to exhaust. Looks kind of crazy to have it in that particular spot, but it works out well for me, and nobody messes with it. And so anyhow, kind of look at the hillside here. You can see the road going that way, and I don't think That's actually the main road. I think that road is a private road because this car, we'll see where he goes. He will probably be going to the right and disappearing through that little notch. And that is the journey up. This is a dead-end road, real close to town. Yep. So this little side road here is goes to somebody's home, or it's maybe it's a service road for that big pipeline. These mountains are sometimes known as the Continental Divide. Everything, the direction you're looking at, which is east, flows that direction. What they've done is several areas, if they've diverted water from the west side of the Continental Divide up top to catch that water in the snowfall, and they've diverted it to this side so people can farm this high plains desert. And that's really what this is just a doggone desert out here. Rock pile. But years ago this area was real thick with sugar beet farming, and now they have corn as well, and you'll see wheat, and of course hay, stuff like that. But quiet evening, except for my mouth jabbering away. Sometimes you'll see wildlife in the rocks. As you hunters know, you know, these draws are where the bigger animals like to hang out in the shade during the day, and they'll walk down to the get a drink of water, and then they'll move back up into the meadows and stuff at night, and they'll feed all night long in the moonlight. They playing out there in the dark. I can see pretty good. They like to stay pretty low during the day. They'll find a nice sunny spot where they got a good view and hang out. That is, doesn't look like snow. I wonder if it's bones or something. Kind of bright white, kind of like bleaching bones. It is private property and fenced, so I think I'll just mind my own business. Got a big lake on the other side of that ridge, that rocky ridge. It's man-made. Hear the ducks in the distance. Anyhow, doesn't look like too much going on, but saw those deer and putting some miles on the buggy. Yeah, I think I'm done with the Harleys and the motorcycles. This thing's much more fun. Pack a lot more garbage on it. We'll be doing some trail riding here. And, God dang it, what happened to Froggy's balls? His brass balls must have froze and fell off. Poor Froggy. He's smiling though. I think he's having fun. Easy Jeezy, out. I thought for giggles I'd just save some gas. Coast down this hill a ways. See how the video comes out without all that engine noise. Gotta be helpful if if I could hold this camera steady. I got square wheels maybe. It's like coasting down the hill in a go-kart. I gotta pay attention instead of looking off at the scenery. If you get a chance, look up on YouTube drift trikes. There's these kids in New Zealand that make these little trikes just for coasting down hills, and they got rubber pneumatic tires, and what they do is get plastic PVC pipe, cut it the width of their tires, and slide it over their tires, and that way it's pretty slippery, and they can go down the roads like this over there in New Zealand, and they get to sliding and drifting and hanging the back ends out, take some pretty good spills, and they're doing it on public streets, and I think they've banned it in several countries, but nipped it in the bud, so to speak. But they're cool little machines. Most of them are homemade, and they seem to be having a ball doing it. That's something I would have liked when I was that age. They're older kids, you know. They're not quite old enough to drive, but old enough to build stuff. And Yeehaw! They'd have a ball on this. They'd be scraping them off the railing. I'm doing about 40. This thing handles pretty good, but it doesn't weigh much. And it's pretty stiffly sprung. Gloves on. On close to where those deer were. Yep, right at the bottom of that draw. And there's the water for them to drink at the lake over there. And they already moved to a different spot. Got some little cabins there you can rent, a little camp area. Somebody's still down there.